So are we done?
Look, I know that you can't feel your hands, and there
Are we
might have
done
been
decorating? Please.
there might have been a slight moment of frostbite today with the outside lights, but as long as you get the super high extension ladder, I wonder if the one like at the fire department, if they'd lend it to us, because of the high entryway. But then we could do like the icicle-y lights going down. Don't you think that would be pretty?
Erin, I take you back many years ago.
Oh yeah.
I,
that.
sitting in the yard, tall pine trees, large balls of plastic on the pine trees the whole day, taking the extension ladder, which I had taken in half, so I didn't have the feet on it because I wanted to stick in the dirt, climb up, leaning just slightly against the pine needles. And I put them all on and it was great. And Erin's last words were,
Don't fall off.
Can you put the wreath on the garage? And I said, yeah, of course. And I went over, my fault. I went over and I put the ladder there.
I knew you had never forgotten this. You said you'd forgiven me, but I knew you hadn't.
Forgetting and forgiving are two very different things. Put the ladder up against the garage.
A large, stately wreath that would look magnificent as you looked at our driveway.
Went up and I've worked on ladders all my life. Went up with no hands. Went and just clicked it onto the nail that was there.
And I watched it happen in slow
And the
motion.
ladder slid out. I went down, caught myself on one foot, broke both ankle bones, and tore everything in my
Now,
foot.
on the bright side, it wasn't a compound fracture, which is the first thing the paramedics thought it was.
Well, when I got to the emergency room, the puncture wound I received from the hook on the ladder actually got me into the OR a lot faster. That and the fact I was going into shock. Okay, enough said.
Okay, well, welcome to the Todd and Erin Daily Stream. I
right.
bet you're sorry you even stopped to take a look at this now, didn't you?
So, question I have for you, and we're going to talk about this with Julie Hanks, who's our expert. Spending Christmas alone.
Spending the holidays alone.
Now,
Yeah,
this
maybe
is
it's
a lot.
Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or any
This is for a lot of people who don't have their kids this year, right? Every other year. Have you?
Oh yeah, that is hard.
Yeah. Have you ever?
I've spent New Year's working every year, but no, I've always had
I've done
Christmas with
that.
my family.
I've done 3.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't realize that. How many?
All when I lived in Maine, and one was the fact that I didn't feel like it, and I know that sounds weird. Second
No,
one.
I think we all go through that.
Second one was that a lot of my friends had no place to go.
And you didn't want to leave them?
I stayed and cooked, and we all cooked. And
That is your thing?
We hung out, we did the thing.
You do love to take
and
care of
the
people.
third time was just, I had no ride. I didn't have a vehicle.
That is the worst.
It is the worst. And you go, it'll be okay. It'll be
I'll just sit here
okay.
alone and write poetry and throw logs onto the fire.
And the poetry's teardrops on the paper. No, I was fine. There's a fire in the fireplace, alone. And I woke up in the morning and went, this friggin' sucks.
Well, you know, some people have had amazing holidays alone. There was that girl who told us she was on a train ride in Europe.
Can I tell it?
Yes, of course.
So when we were on the radio, we had people call in, and one guy called in and he goes, he spent Christmas in a foxhole in Vietnam. And his friend was like 4 feet away from him in a foxhole. And imagine that.
The impact of that. We were all like dead silent for a minute, which never happens in radio ever. And we're like,
could hear, yeah.
It was incredible.
And one lady talked about she was on her way to Prague. Now, as soon as you say that, right, don't you just go,
You lean in like, go on.
what?
Because, yeah, it's like this is mystery. This is a mysterious woman doing cool things.
Exactly. It's 11 o'clock at night, she says. And she's got her head resting against the glass.
Of the train window.
And her breath is still frosting on the glass because it's so freaking cold outside. And she looks across the valley. The moon is lit. It goes across. You can see a valley, and you can see these farmhouses with little dim lights in them.
That's breathtaking. And then there's people who do not want to go home for very specific reasons. And Julie Hanks has a lot of wisdom for you too. Oh, Dr. Julie Higgs.
Yes.
She's from Wasatch Family Therapy. Have a listen. I think everybody in the world has gone through this, like where maybe you go out and you have dinner by yourself, or you go to a movie by yourself, and you kind of keep looking to your side like there should be somebody here, and you fight that. Am I a loser? What's wrong with me? Why don't I have people here? When actually sometimes it's really nice just to go have dinner on your own or go to a movie on your own. But holidays are different. That's where every expectation of you should have people surrounding you who you love really crushes you. So the question is, when you're alone, maybe you can't go home for the holidays, maybe you're working or whatever, or even harder is maybe home is such an awful place that it would be much better for you not to go there. Being alone on the holidays is really painful.
Yes, being alone for the holidays can be really painful. It can also be really freeing. You can create your own family. You can pick and choose and invite people into your space. And I think that can be a really cool opportunity. Some people never have, right? If you live by family, both sides of the family, or, you know, you don't get to pick and choose who you want to spend the holidays with.
This is where you're going.
Yeah, but you can create your own network, and if you want, or you know, some people like being alone. Personally, I like being alone, not on holidays, but just in general. Like I go to movies by myself or dinner by myself. I like my company. But I think most people want to be around someone during the holidays, and find that, you know, whether it's a friend or distant relative or whatever, find your people and bring them close.
I think that's such smart advice, because I think this is something very few people understand, and this is also a much longer subject for another time. But that is the joy of adulthood, is that you actually get to select the family. It doesn't have to be the one that you were born into. You get to create your own circle.
Yeah.
And for people, that's an unheard of concept.
Right. But how freeing to be able to create that and have a say in everyone that's close to you.
And it's a privilege to be part of your family, and you finally get to have that versus all the other rules that you were ever forced to play.
Right.
Are there any little fun tricks or tidbits or anything that can help cheer you up if you're going to be alone on the holidays?
I think about the things that bring you joy and make sure you do those things. You know, if you love skiing, make sure you go skiing. If you love music, make sure you go to a concert or you know, listen to one on the radio. Do the things that bring you joy, whether you're with someone or not. You deserve to feel that joy.
And you're right, that's also a fun time to start exploring what traditions you really wanted, because maybe you did all this stuff because everyone else did, but now you get to go, oh, but I like this.
What brings me joy, right?
You're giddy with your freedom. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
In terms of, I guess, all the media pressure and all of the movies of home for the holidays, and look, we've already connected. Does it help to avoid media at times like this, or what seems to help?
I think picking your favorite music and favorite movies. There are some movies that'll make you feel worse if if you're feeling lonely, but there are some just awesome holiday movies. So make your own playlist of videos, movies, YouTube videos, and entertain yourself.
And going to kind of more of the grim side. You don't want to go home. Home is an awful place. And I think there's adults, and I have friends who have endured things that tear me up just to hear.
Yeah.
And yet they still get that hissing phone call from their mother. Everyone's going to be here but you. Do you know how this makes me look? Or what's wrong with you? Why are you such a bad son or such a terrible daughter?
Yeah.
You don't want to go home.
Right.
How do you handle that first, maybe from the pressure from home?
Yeah. Well, first, if someone's talking to you like that, even your mom, that you could say, listen to how you're talking to me. That may be your answer.
Wow, that's powerful.
Love you, bye. And you hang up.
That's really powerful.
No one gets to talk to you that way. Parents don't get, no one has permission unless you give it to them to talk to you that way.
How do you let go of the obligatory feeling that you should go home? Because that's very powerful too. Well, but I'm not going to be a good person if I don't go home. Or I'm not a good daughter.
Right.
But the other part of you that's relatively sane goes, oh God, I don't want to go there again. Please don't make me go there.
Right. There are families who are severely abusive, emotionally abusive, physically abusive, and you have to protect yourself first So it makes sense that there are people who do not want to go home, and that's probably in their best interest. You have to think about yourself and your well-being. Once you grow up, that's one of the freedoms of being an adult, is that you get to decide who you're going to spend time with. You get to protect yourself. You get to do the things that you couldn't do when you were little.
You know, you're coming up with a lot of like statements now that are like sort of giddy and freeing, and things that I think even as adults we're like, I can do that? Because it's shocking you don't. I mean, because we're mired in what's a
need.
How much do you deal with that very often, or not really, just in the, oh, these are the other things I could do? Because it's easy to get frozen in that same pattern.
Yeah. So looking at your expectations, or the expectations that other people have of you, and then asking, says who? So, I have to go home for Christmas this year, says who? Says mom. Well, okay, do I really care what mom, do I have the kind of relationship where I care? And do the things that says you, that's the expectation that you want to keep.
This is kind of a scary exercise, actually, developing that kind of a backbone. And it doesn't mean you're a wimp if you've fallen through the pressure all the other times. But building that backbone, that takes a lot of courage, because there's all the same old pressures that they're going to throw at you.
Yeah, and you get punished. I mean, people who are healthy in unhealthy families get punished. And so I'm not saying this is easy at all. I think it's really, really difficult to do. And there is backlash. I mean, that's what unhealthy families do. Healthy families are like, oh, we're going to miss you. So sorry you can't make it. And they allow for that difference, for you to be a grown-up, But unhealthy families, there'll be pushback, and that's a reality. And that's why a lot of people just give in, because they don't want to deal with the pushback.
What are some ways you can that you can kind of armor yourself against that?
Well, I think setting really firm boundaries for yourself, what you will and will not tolerate. So there are there's a certain tone of voice that if somebody that I, am close to starts, I'll just say, no one talks to me that way. We're done with this conversation.
You are the best at the cutting off statements, better than anyone I've ever heard.
Just with a smile.
I can't formulate an argument to that statement. That's it. It's so good.
Just no one treats me that way. It's unacceptable. So let's come back to this, or not.
That's good. Obviously, if you can process with friends, that's good. People that you count on. In terms of, I think people expect that therapy has to be this really long-term thing. Is it possible this time of year where you just talk these things out with a professional and just have them help you do a battle plan, maybe?
Yeah, sometimes people come in for just one session. They just need someone to tell them, you're on track, keep going. Those boundaries are healthy, even if your family's unhappy with you. Sometimes we just need reassurance or some insight and a perspective that's outside of our own. So it doesn't have to be long term.
Okay, so here in Utah, if you're watching this in Utah, Wasatch Family Therapy along the Wasatch Front is wonderful, 2 locations. Can you give them a phone number they can go to?
801-944-4555, or our website, wasatchfamilytherapy.com.
Are there interesting articles, or are there helpful books or something that you could recommend that might give them some courage?
Well, I wrote the Assertiveness Guide for Women, so I would recommend that. If you're a woman and need help with boundaries during the holidays, that might be helpful.
And that's a very strong one for a certain portion of the population, you're right.
Yeah. Nothing that's specifically for holidays, but do a Google search. You can find lots of, surviving the holidays with difficult family members articles. On wasatchfamilytherapy.com, there are articles about the holidays and relationships and some tips for how to navigate that.
Okay. So what would you like to say to people who are going to be coming out on January 1st going, yeah, I did that on my own? What would you want them to think or feel?
They went through the holidays on their own?
They made it.
Yeah. I'm strong. I matter.
The Todd and Erin Daily Stream is brought to you by PC Laptops, with desktops and laptops starting as low as $7.99 with a lifetime parts and service warranty. They fix phones too. Go to PCLaptops.com. And by Brio Technologies. They rent, sell, and install audiovisual components, including professional sound, lighting, video and intercom systems, components, projectors, interactive whiteboards, and classroom audio systems. Just go to BrioAudiovisual.com.
All right, time for Tell Me Something Good.
This one is perfect. Are you ready for it? Sometimes you have to incentivize kids, and some people call that bribery, and I call it, I don't care.
That'll work, yeah.
If it works, who cares? But one of the big things, of course, is reading, and especially now with books, with so much digital access, it's a lot harder now for kids to read, but there's a certain educational element to reading a book that is really important in school. It's
Especially
powerful.
if you don't have access to a computer.
Exactly.
Right? And Tinder, I mean...
Tinder? Where'd that come from?
What's the one where you read? No, what's the website that you go to when you buy novels?
No, it
and stuff?
actually is Tinder. I was just giving you crap.
Oh, I thought it was the dating site all
Well,
of a
there
sudden.
was the dating site too, but
Okay, shut up.
I know, but I got to screw
Is
with
it
you.
Tinder? Mm-hmm. What's the other one?
Kindle. Okay,
Kindle.
now I've screwed it up because there is no Tinder. It is Kindle. Tinder is the hideous dating site. Now I'm... Would you want to start over?
No, let's just keep going. It's live. Deal with it.
That's great.
All
Okay,
right.
good.
So,
well, they've come up with something that's really, really clever. They have installed... Do you want me to do this or not?
No, keep going. Keep going. We have to. Go.
They're installing vending machines in New York City elementary schools
For
and
what?
junior high schools. Instead of doing like snacks and treats, they're doing books. Brand new shiny books. They've
Really?
gotten a bunch of sponsors, a bunch of bookstores to donate tons of free books because new shiny books. You've had this with me, right? Where you open up a book for the first time, you kind of crack the spine a bit and smooth out the book. It's a thing. I mean, and to have kids have ownership of their very own books is a big deal. So what you can do in these schools is you can earn free tokens based on like good behavior in the classroom
That's
or
brilliant.
finishing assignments.
That's brilliant.
Then you can go spend the tokens and you can get yourself a brand new book. And so they say they've been restocking them and they thought, oh, okay, yeah, we'll restock them like once a month. That'll be great.
And?
They had to start restocking the vending machine every other day. And the teachers are like, I'm running out of reasons to give kids tokens. They've done all their homework. They've cleaned up the classroom. They're always on time.
That's
and one of the
amazing.
cool things they found is that attendance at school has risen dramatically since they started using the tokens. Less tardiness,
Right.
less absenteeism,
Right.
more homework done because the kids have been so incentivized by these
Oh,
books.
that's so cool.
Isn't that cool?
It is cool.
So what a brilliant idea. Maybe that's something we need to think about.
All right, so Star Wars. I'm going to warn you right now. I don't know anything about it. I'm not.
See, I was the original three trilogies, and I can go on with the rest. I can be supportive, but the first three were mine. You
Lost
know?
me at Jar Jar,
Jar Jar Binks.
whatever his name was.
Anyway, go on.
So the point is they were having an auction. Now, some people go and they grab all this stuff and they go, hey, we got all this stuff and it's going to be great.
Movie memorabilia is huge.
And
I
they
mean,
spent-
auction-wise, oh
they
yeah.
spent millions of dollars on it. And you think, oh, at night he goes down naked by his pool with his lightsaber swinging it around. And, you know, eventually that gets old, I guess. It's sitting in a case. And I suddenly realized that they just buy it. Sorry about the naked part. They just buy it as an investment, don't they?
A lot of times, yes.
It breaks my heart.
Well, no, but memorabilia is a big deal. You still go by and gloat secretly that it's yours.
See, no one can trust signatures anymore. The internet ruined that.
Yeah, autographs
because
are-
people just, they're so copy. Yeah,
Unless you're actually videotaping them doing it, it's...
Now, an actual item that's been in a movie, you can actually track it a little bit more. And Mark Hamill from
Star Wars.
Galaxy Far, Far Away, I am your father.
Luke.
That's pretty much all I got.
That's good. It's all right.
So he saw. Now, where was
Well,
it?
this is the funny thing. It's Fortune magazine, which
Fortune
is one of the
magazine.
most respected financial magazines in the world. I mean,
Right.
so they're announcing this big movie memorabilia auction.
And they said
Tons
one of the
different stuff.
original lightsabers, the
The
original
one-
lightsaber.
The one wielded by himself, by Luke Skywalker himself, and they said in the climactic final battle against Darth Vader.
1977 Star Wars Episode 4. They're figuring 150,000.
Well, for the lightsaber, that's pretty
lightsaber.
incredible.
Mark Hamill said, hold it,
No way.
because he was there. He handled the lightsaber.
Yeah, it would have been his, so.
There were a dozen or so lightsabers.
Read this because this is hysterical. He
Go
does
ahead.
it under hashtag buyer beware. 'cause
Go ahead.
he had read the article from Fortune and went,
No.
he said, be advised, and this is on his Twitter, there was no one lightsaber I used in the films, but many, both for myself and my stunt double. Multiple duplicate backup props are commonplace during production. When the
Right.
handle ridges were cutting into my hands,
Right.
they even made a few with these soft sponge ridges. And people were replying, that's really sad when
I know.
Luke Skywalker has to school Fortune magazine.
Oh, my hand hurts. I'm a Jedi.
No, they were laughing because he had to explain to this like formidable
funny.
financial publication.
Oh, funny.
No kidding.
I thought it was the fact that one of these guys'
After a while, you get tired.
hand hurt
Well,
a
it
little
could-
bit.
Hey, we've all had
Your
repetition
hand
stress.
will not hurt anymore. Your hand will not hurt.
You know, repetition stress injury is a thing, Todd.
Yeah, trust me, I know. All right. So anyway.
Okay, are you prepared to be outraged? Because I don't know why, but this sent me over the edge. Mainly because, especially with the new online taxation, the state has been like, okay, that's going to be a lot of
What are we
freaking
talking
money.
about online? What?
Online taxation, because the state has now launched into that, and here you can't
Are
buy.
they trying to?
Oh no,
or
it's
have
on. It's on. You cannot buy without
Because a
the
lot
state
of
getting a chunk.
a lot of places they have been charging tax anyway,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Well, most of them have been like, this is coming, so we're just going to fall
Right.
in now and not
Right.
have to deal with it.
Okay.
But so you're thinking, well, wow, that's a lot of money. Well, here's something really funny. You know how you always hear about new companies coming in, or maybe even ones you've never even thought of, and they get tax breaks. Now, we all understand tax
Right.
breaks. You
Right.
want to have something that
Right.
might bring a lot of jobs or whatever. But here's where it
Like
gets really funny.
Amazon, like some of the tech companies are moving in.
During that recent special legislative session, lawmakers earmarked $55 million for state tax breaks. Now,
There you go.
this is money they're expecting to get beginning January 1st, 2019 from the out-of-state online sales tax
Right.
collections.
Who are they?
And this is interesting. One lawmaker who's part of the Revenue and Tax Committee can be heard in the special session saying,
Sure.
we have a combined amount of about $80 million that we're going to be proposing and returning in lower taxes.
Amazing.
Well, Jim DeBackus, who is leaving, so he really doesn't care anymore.
And he's a nut.
He'll like, no, I'll
I
just
love
be
him.
honest.
I love him. He's a nut.
Well, he doesn't have any reason to
Love him.
suck it up. He's you can hear him saying it's a big mistake to earmark this amount of money to a few manufacturers and deprive the real issue, which of course for him was the lack of funding for education. Because why is this all going to these guys? And then of course the next question was, who are the companies getting
Well,
the $80 million
Show
in
me the
tax
list.
breaks?
Show me the list.
There is no one.
No, there's got to be a list.
Even the lawmakers have no idea where the money is going to be earmarked. They don't know the lobbyists who lobbied for the money to go to those businesses. They have no idea which businesses they are. They are blindly sending out the money. The only people who know where the money is going is the Utah State Tax Commission, who says it is important that we preserve the privacy of these corporations and not reveal this personal, critical financial information. That would be your money
I got a
that
question.
you can't know about.
Did we elect the people on the tax commission?
No.
Are you sure?
No.
Okay.
No, that's not that.
I was just checking.
That was their statement. They said, we know who the companies are, but all the tax information is strictly confidential. And they said, so, and the lawmakers were actually asking, so you can't tell us who we're giving $80 million to. Once again, that's your $80 million and ours. Well, not ours, because we didn't make enough to really make sales taxes interesting.
Yeah, sorry.
But that's our money. Not only do we not get to know where the money is going, even the state lawmakers earmarking it get to know where the money is going. To me, this seems problematic. To which the Utah State Tax Commission said,
Just let it
well,
go.
if you don't like
Just
the
let it go."
transparency, then then elect a lawmaker who will change the law.
Yeah. Oh, we're
$80
done.
million.
$80 million. Okay. You're good?
Okay, I'm done being outraged, but it did
Are
come.
you okay?
It made me a little ill, but sure.
Okay.
Let's go on.
Very good. Oh, wait.
While we're talking money.
Wait. Becky on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Oh. Good point, Becky. She likes the way the light is bouncing off the top of my head. Hang on one second. Okay, just gonna
What's
go
wrong
over here.
with how it... Really?
No, that's not enough. We need more light. Sorry. It's just going to do that, Becky. Sorry. All right, so
Maybe she meant it nicely.
how much have our kids made us?
Are you kidding?
Zoe was in that commercial for the hospital.
Actually, Zoe was in 3 or 4 commercials when she was
didn't
a
make
baby.
any money.
But all of that was it was donated to charity.
Charity.
So there was
Right.
one that was a big hospital chain, but all the money went back to their Adoption
We didn't
Services
make anything.
Foundation.
We didn't make crap.
So that was worth it. So now our children are basically a drain on our finances.
Our dog. No.
Nothing.
Nothing. Ryan is evidently a good kid.
What does Ryan do?
Ryan's been doing this for a couple years now. He's 7 at this point. And
Oh,
basically
really?
the parents started getting stuff and buying stuff and explain what
Unboxing?
unboxing
Well, no,
is.
it's a huge thing, and you probably get into it too, but you go on YouTube and it's a very visually satisfying process where someone sets out a box, they open it up. You know, it's almost like you're doing it like a present, and they pull out whatever the item is
all
to
the
describe
parts,
it.
all the parts.
They may assemble things or tell
put
you
it
how the
together.
things work.
Right.
And for
But
children,
they don't use it. That's where Ryan wins.
so for Ryan, he is an online
Toy expert.
So he basically reviews the toys, right?
So what they do is they give him the box and they give him a really sharp knife. No, they don't. They cut it open. They open the box and they slide it to him. And he did this when he was younger. But now at 7, he takes the box and he opens it up and they have the camera set up and he says, okay, so what do we have here? We got the Legos dinosaur set, right?
That's what I was thinking. Funny.
Really?
Yeah.
So he opens it up, he takes all the parts out, puts all the bags on the table, and then he shows the things, shows pictures, they show the pictures of the manuals and stuff like that, and then they kind of put it together. Other things are like remote control cars and stuff. Where
Pops in the batteries, he might
gets
move
to
them around.
run around,
Yeah.
he's like, wow, this is cool, this is cool. Evidently, people think it's cool, because he's been making some, what's the word? Cash
Yeah.
on this. Pre-roll advertising on his channel.
Now
okay?
this isn't even payments from the toy companies to have him review their products
No.
or display them. This is just those little tiny advertisements you see at the bottom of the screen on YouTube when you're watching something.
Nearly all of his money, or about 21 million, comes from pre-rolled advertising on his channel, on his toy channel.
That's Ryan's Toys Review, right?
Right.
Wow.
Right. Look at this, unboxing videos.
It provides the proxy for actually experiencing the joy of receiving and opening something you really desire.
So I think that's BS.
And that's especially true for items that are out of reach or unattainable for the
No.
average consumer.
I don't think that's mean.
He has the YouTube Kids apps have more than 11 million
That's
active
cool.
weekly users.
Well, for moms and dads, it's like, oh, he really likes it. He's a normal kid. Okay, that's maybe what I'll get him. And if you look for a toy that your kid's asking for, go check Ryan and see how he liked it, because guaranteed he's opened it.
Okay, here's one thing I do not like.
What?
So Ryan, once he opens all of the toys and the boxes and all of those
All right.
things, and you're thinking, oh, well, maybe he donates them to children's charities or takes them to the
Do
hospitals.
not break my heart now.
They just announced this as a big
Don't.
financial incentivization. They were all
Don't.
excited about it. He's got his own special toy line now where they repackage all the stuff he looked at and they sell it for a higher price because it was touched by him. Really?
Just broke my heart.
Mom and Dad, I just want you to think through this concept. This kid's got everything in the world. This could be your option for a teaching moment, not only for Ryan, but for the millions and millions of children who watch. And you're going to repackage it and sell it for a higher price because it was touched by your
He is
kid.
this year's highest paid YouTube star, earning $22 million and a $12 million.
What happened to PewDiePie? Oh my gosh.
PewDiePie!
He's gone.
He's gone. Ryan's kicking his butt and he's 7.
Wow.
I know, right?
22 million.
All right, so anyway, what did we learn today? We learned Julie Hanks was the best, I think.
Smart. We learned
She-
a lot about how to incentivize children to have books.
Right? We talked about spending. I really like the holiday alone thing, because all the parents and stuff who have every other year, which is hard.
That is a big thing. You're right.
It's hard.
And we learned that your forehead is beautifully lit.
What? Thanks, Becky. Jerk.
Please like and share the show today if you would. That also gets you into the drawing for dinner for 4 at Christopher's Prime Steakhouse.
Oh, no, we're not
And
going
they're
to do
brand
that
new.
this week. We're going to go down to Test it instead, so don't do it.
Oh, whatever.
Don't. Okay, go ahead and do it.
So we want to send you, it would be wonderful. You deserve it. And downtown's so pretty right now with all the lights. You can also just like us if you want on Mistletoe Mania, which is one of our new pages. Also on The Beautiful Dark, which is my Halloween page, because that's all I care about decorating wise. And also on Tell Me Something Good, which is always full of wonderful, happy stories. On days you need them most, it is there for you. So just like in any of those pages, or like and share the show today, please invite your friends to watch. And yeah, tomorrow
right.
we're going to have another local legend for you, and it is Boudoir Pinup Girls. And it's so...
Excuse me?
She shoots boudoir photos, but it's like really cute, cheeky, like 50s
Like the
styles pinup
40s,
girls.
the 40s
Yeah,
and
the ones that
50s,
you
yeah.
love so much. And they're
yeah.
darling.
Oh, that's really cool.
It is so cute. I can hardly wait to tell you about
And
it.
here's another revenge moment for me, is that when your wife puts up this stuff on the top around the cabinets like this, one of these ball sets is right over the stove where I cook food. And when I open and close the cabinets, guess what ends up in the food? Glitter. Merry Christmas.
Everything's shining.
Everything.
I think we mean that differently.
We way mean that differently.
All right, see you tomorrow. We
Yeah,
love
see
you.
Bye. Okay, bye.